Today, I'm going to spend some time reading the Go language source code about exception handling. So people that are new to Go language, let's spend a couple minutes to see how Go handles exceptions. So here is an example from the Go blog. In this case, there's a function which is named open, which takes a string as an input and produces two outputs. So Go language has multiple return from functions, and one of those is a pointer to a file, and the another one is error. And to use this method, your typical Go code will look like this. You have a function pointer and an error. You're calling the open function, and then the first thing you would check whether or not error is nil, and then you'll continue the regular path. It's a little bit different from the try-catch based error that we see in many other languages. This has always been a controversial feature within Go, but I find this simplicity to be brilliant in terms of the Go language team have been able to ignore so much of the mainstream programming languages that uses exceptions as a control flow, and they have fundamentally taken the view that exceptions are just like another value returned from a method. But the Go community has had raised this question a lot of times, and they have, in the Go team, they have also tried to answer it in a few different places. So here is a FAQ: why does Go not have an exception? And they clearly state that the team believes coupling exceptions to a control structure, as in the try-catch-finally idiom, results in convoluted code. And then there is also another post about the philosophy of treating errors as just another value instead of its own special type. So here you see, you can read this post about some tricks to make code simpler and reduce duplication when you're handling errors as if they are just another value returned from a method. But without spending too much time on the documentation, let's go to the source code, because I know, less like me, you like to see the code. One beautiful thing about the Go language source code is it's all in GitHub, and it's very easy to follow no matter which package you go to. In this case, there's one package called errors, and you will be surprised if you have not seen this before how small this package is, how minimalist this is. So let's start with errors.go. This is the file that has pretty much all of exception inside Go. There's a whole bunch of documentation at the top, but what you see is it's called the package errors. It has a constructor that takes a string and produces a structure of type error string. Error string has just one property called s, which is a string, and just one method called error, which gives you the string in return. So essentially, inside Go, error is just a structure that has a string and a method called error. What we can do is we can see the test code of this, see how this works. So this is errors test, and you'll be surprised to see how simple these tests are. So in this case, it's just checking the new. So it's creating one error with ABC and another error with ABC and verifying that these two are same. It's the same way. One error with ABC and XYZ, and it's verifying that they are not the same. And sorry, I was wrong. It looks like if you create two different errors with the same message, they are still treated as two different errors. And then it's checking that you can call the error method and get the string in return. Pretty much that's it. So this is, you have seen all of exception handling in the Go programming language right here. To see how Go itself uses the exceptions inside the language, I'm going to take you to the IO package. And here you will see, as you imagine, there's a lot of exceptions that you have to deal with when you're writing IO code. And here is just an exception called short write, defined using errors.new, the method we just saw. EOF error is very common in many programming languages. In the Go programming languages, this is just one line dedicated to it. And obviously there are methods that return errors, as you can see, like the seek method can return a 64-bit integer or an error. And most methods are like that. They will return, there's a main return and there's an accompanying error with it. So when you are handling with the return, you look at the error and then you check the value. Overall, I was very impressed with how simple everything Go did in terms of exceptions. Another beautiful thing, like a bit of a hidden feature that Go has, is called example tests. So the example tests are a little bit different from regular tests. In the example test, what happens is you produce an output like this, and the Go test runner will compare this commented output with the output of this remaining part of the method. And if it matches, then your test will pass. But more interestingly, your test will be then part of the Go language. And as you can imagine, so this is the documentation, official documentation of the errors. And here you will see that there's an example, which is a direct match with the example test we just saw in GitHub. So it's a pretty brilliant way of automatically documenting programming language APIs using test code. Overall, I would say that this code is so easy to follow, this code is so minimalist, and it challenges traditional exception handling in most programming languages with a philosophy that exceptions don't need to be specially treated, and it could just be a value like any other value returned from a method. This is one of the things I like about Go language, is being very opinionated and taking the side of simplicity whenever it's possible. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Thank you again for your time.